Hi, my name is Emily Fons and I'm a professional opera singer with San Diego Opera. I've been to San Diego twice and I was supposed to come this spring, but I wasn't able to because of COVID, so I'm hoping to be back at San Diego Opera next spring. For the next 10 weeks or so, I'm going to be visiting your music class with these short videos to teach you a little bit about music and opera. I know it's really hard to be learning from home right now. It's hard for me too. I'm at home in Wisconsin. I live with my dog, Lupita. She might bark during the video. Some other things I like to do besides singing are running, cooking, enjoying time out in my garden, and visiting with my family and friends. I hope that even though it's hard for you to be at home too, that at least you've gotten to do some nice things over the summer and that you're excited to be back in school even though it's different this year. Today I'm going to talk about two things. The first thing is music and what makes music music. The second thing is what does our body do that lets us make the sounds we make when we talk and sing. So, our first question of the day. What makes music music? I'm going to give you a few seconds to talk about it and see if you can come up with your own ideas about what makes music music. There are no wrong answers, so I'll check back in with you after you've talked about it a little bit. Okay, so what did you decide makes music music? And like I said, there are no wrong answers. But all music, opera, your favorite music, my favorite music, your mom and dad's favorite music, have two things in common. Music is made up of sound and rhythm, or time. So sound and rhythm. Those are the two things that make up all kinds of music. Here's an example of different sounds and different rhythms. Listen to the difference. Now I'm going to play the same sounds in a different rhythm. Now I'm going to keep the same rhythm, but play different sounds. So again, all music is made up of sound and rhythm. Now, even if you don't know how to play music, or even if you don't like to sing, or don't think you know how to sing, you use sound and rhythm when you talk and when you laugh. Every day, we use our voices to tell people information that we want them to know. We use sound and rhythm to tell them how we feel about that information. I'm going to show you a simple sentence and what it sounds like if I read it with all the same sound and all the same rhythm. Okay, ready? Here's the sentence. I'll let you read it over before I say it. Now, if I read this sentence with all the same sound at all the same time, this is what it sounds like. A very big bear stole my lunch. I kind of sound like a robot. So you know what I was trying to tell you, you just don't know how I feel about it, right? So every day when we're talking to our friends, our voice goes up and down, and sometimes we talk really fast, and sometimes we talk really slow to let people know how we feel about what we're saying. And music has the same thing. Remember, music is sound and time. So now I'm going to let you try. Play around with sound and time and say this sentence in a few different ways. Maybe your teacher can help you out too. Why don't I go first? A very big bear stole my lunch! Try it out. Now, when we're learning music, obviously it's important for us to make the right sound at the right time. So maybe you've looked at music before and you notice that there's lines and then there's little black circles on those lines. Those little black circles on those lines are called notes. And notes tell us two very important things. Notes tell us what sound to make and how long to make it for. I'll say that again. Notes tell us what sound to make and how long to make it for. For now, we're not going to worry about how to know which note is which when you look at it on the page. But I am going to tell you the names of the notes. And maybe you know them already. If you don't know them as notes, you definitely already know them because they are just the first 7 letters of the alphabet. So that's right. Each note gets a letter for its name. So the note names are A, B, C, D, E, F, G. That's it. Now you know all the notes and all the names. So once again, notes have names, and the names are just the first 7 letters of the alphabet. A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. So now that you know the note names, that's how we know what sound to make. Now, how do we know how long to make it for? Well, that's not so hard either. Drawing a note is very easy. So why don't we practice drawing some notes? Even if you don't know what it means, that doesn't matter. You're just getting familiar with it, okay? So we're just going to start by drawing the very basic note shape, which is just a circle. All right, well, that was easy. All right, so here it is, a note. It doesn't get much easier than that, does it? Now, there are things that we add to a note to tell us how long to make that sound for. Those are all really easy things to draw too, so I'll show you some of them. The first one is called a stem. We can add a stem to a note, and that tells us something about how long to hold that note. You don't need to worry about what it tells us yet, just get familiar with what the notes and different note shapes look like. So I'm going to add a stem to my note. Here is a note with a stem. Now, when you look at music, you'll notice that a lot of notes have stems. Again, you don't need to know what it means right now. Just get used to what it looks like, and you can spot it next time you look at some music. All right, I'm going to add a few more things. The next thing I'm going to add is called a flag. Why don't you try adding a stem to your note, and then we'll add a flag. All right, there you go. So this coming off the top of the stem is called a flag. That's another way you can change a note to tell someone how long to make that sound for. So try adding a flag to the stem of your note. I'm going to add 2 more things. Next up, I'm going to add a dot. All right, there we go. A dot. A dot always goes to the right of the note that you want to add it to. So that's another thing you can add to a note to tell someone how long they should make that sound for. So remember, we have a note, a stem, a flag, and a dot. Try adding a dot to your note. All right, here's the last thing. Whoa, that looks way different. Well, not really. Remember, we have our note, our stem, and our dot, and this was our flag, but I just wanted to connect it to another note, so I turned it into a bar. So you have a note, a dot, a stem, a flag, or if you want to connect to another note, you turn your flag into a bar. Again, it doesn't matter if you don't know what these mean. Just kind of get used to drawing them and looking at them, and then you'll be able to spot them when you start to look at music. So remember, a note tells us what sound to make. What the note looks like tells us how long to make it for. Note, stem, dot, flag, bar. Now, do you remember the names of the notes? Remember, you already know them. The first 7 letters of the alphabet. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Now you know the names of the notes. You know some things that we add to notes to tell us how long to hold them for. And you know that notes tell us what sound to make and how long to make it for. So let's recap the first things we talked about. What makes music music? Two important things, sound and time. Remember our sentence? We use sound and time even when we talk or laugh to tell people how we feel about what we're saying. Now, notes tell us what sound to make and how long to make it for. Remember our note that we drew? Note, stem, dot, flag, bar. Those are all things that help us know how long to make a sound for. And when we want to know what sound to make, the note tells us that it is one of 7 sounds. A, B, C, D, E, F, or G. Now let's talk a little bit about how our body works to help us sing those notes. When we want to sing a note, our body has to do a lot of things really quickly. A lot of those things it just does because they are things that we do when we talk. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about some of the important things your body does for singing or talking, and 2 of the parts of the body that are really important for singing and talking. So to start off with, 3 things have to happen for us to sing and talk. We have to breathe in, we have to breathe out, and our vocal cords have to open, close, and stretch. I'm going to say that all again. So to sing or to talk, we have to do 3 important things. We have to breathe in, we have to breathe out, and our vocal cords have to open, close, and stretch. I'll give you a second to think about that. All right, so what is the most important part of your body for breathing? I'm going to let you stop and answer that. So the question is, what is the most important part of your body for breathing? Okay, so you probably guessed it, your lungs, right? Now, there are lots of other parts of your body that do things when you breathe, but we're just going to start by talking about your lungs and where they are. You probably know where they are, and you probably are right. I'm going to show you a picture anyway. Don't worry about all the other words on here. Just look at where the lungs are. They're really high. I'm going to show you the picture again. Look at where the person's armpit is and look at where the top of their lung is. It's above your armpit. That's really high. Look again. See how the lungs come up above the person's armpit? Almost all the way up to your neck. They're really high. Try putting your hands where your lungs are, right? So if I put mine, it would be about like this. That's so high. You can feel your little collarbones here. Take a few breaths in and feel how that feels. Ooh, your whole body has to move when your lungs breathe in and out, right? Try breathing in and out a few times with your hands where your lungs are and see how that feels. Okay, so remember the 3 things I said that had to happen for you to sing and talk? Breathe in, breathe out. We did that. And then your vocal cords have to open, close, and stretch. Now, where are your vocal cords? Well, you saw I put my hand here, and that's right. I'm going to show you another picture. Again, don't worry about the words. Just look at the picture. Right there in your neck. Okay? So try something with me. Let's say the sentence from before, a very big bear stole my lunch. Try putting your hand on your vocal cords. And now say the sentence. A very big bear stole my lunch. Can you feel the vibrating? The air is moving out of your lungs and through your vocal cords. Try it again. A very big bear stole my lunch. Okay, now I'm gonna do a little bit of a silly experiment with this cleaning glove to show you how our lungs and vocal cords work together to help us make sound for singing and talking. You can do the same thing with a balloon. I blew up the glove, and now I'm stretching the top part while I let some air out. So which part do you think is our lungs, and which part do you think is our vocal cords? I'm sure you guessed it. The bottom part that fills up with air is our lungs, and the top part that's opening, closing, and stretching is just like our vocal cords. Now, if I were to just let go and let all the air out, no sound would happen, right? But if I breathe in, and then my vocal cords open, close, and stretch while I breathe out, that's when sound happens. Okay, let's recap that little section about what our body does to help us make sound for singing and talking. So, where are your lungs? I'll give you a second to find them. What do your lungs do when you sing or speak? Two things. Do you remember? Yep, I'm sure you got it. You breathe in and you breathe out. Now, do you remember where your vocal cords are? Yep, right here. Do you remember the three things that your vocal cords do when you sing and speak? Open, close, stretch. Maybe if you do it with your hands like I just did, it'll be easier to remember. Your vocal cords are right here, and to make sound, they need to open, close, and stretch. So to sum up everything I talked about today, music is made up of what two things? Sound and rhythm. We use notes with the names A, B, C, D, E, F, and G to tell us what sound to make. We draw the notes like circles, and we add things like stems, dots, flags, or bars to tell us how long to make that sound for. We use these things when we talk and sing to not only communicate information, but how we feel about it. Remember our sentence? A very big bear stole my lunch. A very big bear stole my lunch. Remember, your lungs breathe in and out, and your vocal cords open, close, and stretch to help you make those sounds. So, I hope you had fun today, and I will see you next week to continue talking about music and singing.